Hi, my name is David Flemming. I'm a heritage consultant working in Ottawa. I've been involved in museums and heritage business for over 45 years, about 45 years. And I had meetings with two people today. One was Senator Manning from Newfoundland, and Andrew Cash, who is a New Democratic Party member of Parliament from Toronto Devonport. Senator Manning, who's a Conservative senator, he was very interested in all three things that we proposed. His perspective is from representing a very small community in the southwest of Newfoundland, and he's been a member of the provincial legislature in Newfoundland and a member of Parliament prior to being appointed to the Senate. So he had a perspective on how these programs could help small community museums. He made the point that in his community he has 400, where he lives there, 430 people, and he has colleagues who represent Ontario ridings, and they have 300,000 people in 3 blocks. So again, he was looking at how Young Canada Works could benefit constituencies, a constituency in rural Newfoundland. And he made the point that you can't just go on the number of people who live in a community. You have to look at need, you have to look at the impact that 2 jobs in southern Newfoundland would have as opposed to what 2 jobs would have in Calgary or Toronto. We talked about the indemnification program. He said he didn't really think that was a problem, and he was surprised that they couldn't just double the amount. He said, that's an administrative thing. He didn't really think that was going to be difficult. He did point out, though, that we shouldn't look for any new money for next year. The idea of the Canadians supporting their museums, he said that's the kind of thing that once the government starts getting their house in order, they might consider. Young Canada Works, he said, it might be just a matter of a real allocation of funding within Young Canada Works as opposed to putting in an extra $1 or $2 million. But seemed very supportive. Andrew Cash, who's the newly elected New Democratic Party candidate, comes from a strong performing arts background. He's a musician and a publisher of music magazine. Listened very intently, had some very intelligent questions about how programs would work. We tried to stress the importance of the Young Canada Works program as being a sort of a foot in the door, an initial work experience for people who wanted to get into the arts and heritage community. And he seemed to think that was important. He was also very supportive of the idea of having the matching funds by the government. He did have one concern. He said, well, how do you prevent the big museums from using it all up? And I said, we pointed out that there would obviously have to be restrictions, and I said, maybe the way you do it is the way they do it for funding now. Museums that have budgets under 50,000, one that have between 50 and 150 or over 150, and you would have limits that would go on. But that's an administrative thing. So he thought the indemnification thing was a good idea, like the Young Canada Works thing, because it's a way of getting people work experience within the community. Again, thought that might not be, we're not asking for a lot of money, it might be just moving money around, existing money. He did say that new money, like the $25 million for the Canadians supporting the museum, is probably something that we should try to look at for 2017, the 150th anniversary. That I pointed out to him that my involvement in museums started after the Confederation, the centennial Confederation, in 1967, and how the museums just blossomed after that. And what we should be doing now is perhaps saying, okay, we have all these museums developed over the past 50 years now, let's make sure that these museums continue to exist, and let's try to establish them on very firm funding. The other thing he was concerned about was with the matching money is that, is this going to go into an endowment fund? And we pointed out that, it was going to be up to individual museums to decide if they want to use the money to build a new exhibit, then they build a new exhibit. If they want to put it in an endowment fund, they put it in an endowment fund. So he, again, very supportive. Two people, various different parts of the country seem to support our initiatives.